Yo, what is going on, guys? Everyone's having a fantastic day today. So the Combine, first day, I want to go through some of the players. I want to go through some of the buzz that's been going around, and especially the Philadelphia Eagles that, you have a lot of free agents on defense. You have a lot of free agents, and then, your offense, you're only losing about 2 guys in that offense because really, not really about the offense too much. But I want to see what players the Eagles have been interested in, who the Eagles have talked to. I have the whole list as well. But definitely want to go through some of the players, go through a little bit of Eagles news at the end of this video, too, because, this is it's going to be a lot of work for Howie Roseman going into this offseason. We haven't really freed up too much money. We haven't been through free agency yet, so it'd be really nice to see where we think the Eagles are going and what direction and what position, and it should be a lot of fun. So let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? So definitely a lot of prospects here, and to see where the Eagles are going. And I think the number one thing we talk about is like who they're meeting with and who they could potentially. I mean, obviously, if a team has a meeting, it's a good sign. And obviously, Kelee Ringo is definitely on the top of that list on the first day for the Eagles. And obviously, a guy in Kelee Ringo that's has a swagger, has aggressiveness. I think other than Witherspoon, I think he's one of probably the most physical corners you're going to find in the draft. And obviously, I think he will land in the first round. Maybe our first round pick at 30, 31, whatever it is. And at this point, you have a guy right here that, if the Eagles don't take a corner with the 10th overall pick, I mean, this could potentially be your guy later down the road. Now, he has talked to the Cowboys and a lot of other teams that have interest too. I don't think he makes it to the second round, only just depending on certain situations, but I think he will be a first round pick, a middle to late first round at the end of the day. What Kelee Ringo brings, can cover those big receivers, outside very well. Like I said, physical. I think the only problem that he's really had consistently is really squeezing the route at the top of a receiver's route where he doesn't close too much at the top of those routes for those deep passes and stuff like that. So, other than that, I think he does really well. I think just a little bit more polished. I think he'd be a fantastic corner for the Philadelphia Eagles and what they're looking for. There's a lot of them in this draft. There's like 16 corners that are ranked, I think, 4th round grade and higher. That's how good this corner class is this year, and this is a fantastic year for it for the Philadelphia Eagles. With Big Play Slay leaving after 1 year, if they don't extend him, Maddox is a free agent after this year, and Bradbury's walking, and how much do you trust behind Zech McPherson, Mario Goodrich, and Josh Jobe, and whoever else? How much trust do you have in the backup guys that we have right now? So I think Kelee Ringo would be fantastic, and plays with a lot of power, and gotta love it. So I'm really excited about Kelee Ringo come to the Eagles. At least the interest is there, which is a great thing, and that's a good start for me. So can't really complain at all. Now another corner that they did talk to as well is Garett Williams from Syracuse. Another guy had a torn ACL last year because he didn't play that long. I think he only played like 10 games or something like that. He had 2 picks, 13 tackles, okay? Twitchy. I think this could be your backup nickel. I think it could be a potentially starting nickel cornerback. So, he'll be a mid-round to a late-round pick in this draft, in the later rounds. It's going to happen. But yeah, he's got great use of his hands. Quick area, quickness. Just very twitchy. Plays very good in zone. He's playing in man coverage. I think the only issue he's had is getting beat by those speedy receivers going downfield. It's happened a couple times, but we'll see what he does, man. There's like I said, there's sometimes you get these guys in the late rounds and they could be and he hits and he plays real big as well, and he plays real big. So I really do like Garett Williams a lot and where he's going. Just like I said, when you have a guy that can play multiple, he could play zone coverage, he could play man coverage. You have a guy that literally could move around the field a little bit. He might be another moving piece for the Philadelphia Eagles in certain, depending on what Sean Desai wants to do. It should be really interesting. So I wouldn't even mind it. I know you don't want to kind of get a guy coming off a torn ACL, but if it's a late round pick, I really don't care as much. And the Eagles, as of right now, don't have any mid-round picks to late-round picks. We have 7th-round picks right now, but they haven't been released because the compensatory picks haven't been released yet. And the Eagles have no 4th or 5th-round picks as of right now. But the Eagles should have those back. I know Eagles are going to make some moves regardless of what's going on. So with Garett Williams, it really comes down to his zone coverage, twitchy, fast, short area quickness. Could be a potential next nickel cornerback going forward. So we'll see. At least there's interest right there. They met up with him, so could be a steal down the line. We'll see. He should be ready for training camp if he does get drafted. It says from his torn ACL, he should be ready to play. So there's no issue there with the injury. So, and another thing too with him is, he's a ball hawk. I mean, he's flashed at being a really good ball hawk. Only flashed, and to see what he could do. Always gets his hands on the football, which is great. So, really do like him a lot. Like Garett Williams a lot. So we'll definitely be talking about him later on. When it comes down to the defensive lineman, too, is one that was getting a lot of buzz on the first day, Kelee Ringo from Pittsburgh. A very undersized defensive lineman coming into the draft. But, I think he ran a 4.78. I think the fastest 40, in 20 years. Which is kind of crazy, which is kind of nuts. 281 pounds, for his weight as well, which was pretty good. Obviously we saw what Jordan Davis did last year, which was pretty fantastic. Like I said, I talk about the 40 times, but for defensive linemen, I don't care. But I think it's cool how these guys could run pretty quick. So really, in 2 seasons as a full-time starter for Kelee Ringo, it was he had 14.5 sacks, 27.5 tackles for loss in 2 seasons, which really isn't that bad. He's got good hands, as a full-time starter. Like I said, the issue with him is really hand placement, and he just gets beat. He's undersized. I mean, he looks like he's undersized. But if he doesn't have that first quick step, that's going to be an issue. He's been beaten on reach blocks and stuff like that. So, you took a guy like Milton Williams in the 3rd round for the Eagles, and he's a flash in the pan. He gets his time where he gets his tackles and gets to maybe a sack or 2 for the year. But he comes in and does a good job. I'm wondering if you actually draft this guy, if he will actually become better than Milton Williams or something like that. Obviously, the Eagles might draft another defensive line, whether it's DT, whether it's DE, because they really need both at depth, because you could be losing 4 defensive linemen, which is absolutely insane right now. But with Kelee Ringo right now, I think this has to bulk on some weight and just get polished up a little bit more. Like I said, I think he's a mid-round pick. He could be potentially a late 3rd to an early 4th, but definitely somebody else to kind of look at going down the road. We'll definitely keep him in our mentions going down the road, which would be pretty cool. So very excited for him going down the road. Now I want to go over. Now I think this is the rest of the list that we have gotten so far. The tracker for who the Eagles have talked to already was Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame, Brandon Joseph, the safety, Antonio Johnson, which is a really interesting one from Texas A&M, Byron Young, Cyrus Torrance, Gervin Dexter, Byron Young. So they're kind of spreading out a little bit right now. But most likely, what I've been seeing on the first day from the Eagles is defense, 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 defense. So you got a lot of free agents coming in. It's crazy, dude. Like, the amount of moves that Howie Roseman made was kind of nuts, but I think with a better defensive scheme, it's going to be a lot better. If you have a defensive coordinator, it's going to take a lot more chances. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive. And look what Sean Desai did with the defense in 21 for the Bears. Still a top 10 defense, and they didn't even have half of what the Eagles had this year, and they were a top 10 defense. Just imagine we had a coach that had. Oh, God, it kills me till this day on all that talent we had this past year, and just we didn't have the right DC for it, and it really pisses me off still. Sorry, I don't mean to get off topic, but it is what it is. And one of the last thing I want to go over is Eagles news in general with Brandon Graham, which is really interesting. News has come out per report that Graham wants to stay with Philadelphia for 2 more years. Now, the last time Graham got this past extension that he got, the one that he was just on, you guys remember a few years ago when Graham got that extension to stay with the Eagles, he took a discount. Okay, that's when DeMarcus Lawrence got tagged and a few other defensive ends got tagged, and the Eagles had a lot of interest in defensive ends, so they decided to re-sign Brandon Graham, want to stay in Philadelphia. I can't see him going anywhere else. I think they're going to try to work something out. Does he deserve more money? Definitely. This is the first year he's had double-digit sacks, and yes, he is guaranteed to get more money. And I don't know, like, we have to get younger at defensive end. We have to get younger at DT. That defensive line, we need more young talent. I think we need a unstoppable talent with the 10th overall pick. I think that's where we got to go with it. And that's where I'm going with this whole thing. So I don't know. I think somebody has to get signed. I think Graham should stay, and maybe he's not really trying to get I mean, he's getting older now, and he's coming off a really good season and off a really nagging crazy injury that a lot of guys at his age will not recover from, and look how he played, which was absolutely amazing. So there's a lot going on here, but it should be fun. Graham coming back would be a great thing, and we'll see what happens when the time comes. But other than that, it's the first day of the combine. I mean, there was probably a lot more stuff to go over, but I only had a certain amount of time. We'll talk about some other players as well. I'll keep track on the tracker on who the Eagles are meeting up with, which players, and we'll talk about those players and everything like that. So this is a very early process right now. We haven't even seen who the Eagles are going to re-sign. We haven't freed up even more money yet to even re-sign anybody. So it's like $8 to $9 million and under the cap right now. And thank God we're under the cap start of the season, which is great, because usually we've been over the cap every single year, besides last year. But other than that, that's it. That's the first day of the combine. We'll go over more as the days go on, and we're going to get ready, man. We're going to see what Howie Roseman's got up his sleeve as of right now. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.